Part 3 begins where the noise fades and the meaning finally settles in. By the time fans finished replaying Shen Yue reaction, something unexpected happened. The conversation stopped being about shock. It became about understanding. People were no longer chasing headlines. They were sitting with feelings they did not expect to feel. Because this moment was not loud. It did not demand attention. It earned it. Shen Yue reaction lingered in the minds of viewers because it reflected something rare. Emotional clarity. The kind that comes only after time has passed and life has reshaped priorities. Fans described it as watching someone who had already made peace with the past. There was no tension in her expression.
No visible discomfort.
Just a quiet acknowledgement that life moves forward and people grow in different directions. That realization hit fans deeply because many saw themselves in it. Moments where you hear news about someone who once mattered, and instead of pain you feel calm acceptance. That is why this story stayed alive. Fans began sharing their own experiences in comment sections. Stories about first loves. About people who were once central to their lives and are now memories filled with gratitude rather than longing. Shen Yue reaction became a mirror for those emotions. Meanwhile, the public moment between Dylan Wang and BaiLu continued to ripple outward. What started as a single unexpected interaction had turned into a layered narrative about connection, timing, and growth. And Shen Yue's presence in the story gave it emotional balance. There was no rivalry, no unspoken conflict. Just three people whose paths crossed at different points and continued forward. Many fans pointed out something important. Shen Yue did not step into the spotlight to comment. She did not redirect attention toward herself. Her reaction was observed naturally, and that restraint only amplified the respect people felt for her. It reminded fans that strength does not always announce itself. Sometimes it simply exists. As discussions deepened, people revisited old interviews and moments from years ago. They noticed how much all three had changed. How their voices carried more confidence. How their choices reflected growth. This was not about returning to the past. It was about honoring it without being trapped by it. What made this chapter especially powerful was the collective response. Instead of division, the fandom leaned into empathy. Instead of choosing sides, people chose understanding. That shift is rare and meaningful. Some fans said this moment healed something they did not realize was still open. Others said it gave them closure they never expected. Not because of words spoken, but because of the way Shen Yue held herself with grace. This is why storytelling matters. Not every powerful story needs confrontation. Sometimes the most unforgettable scenes are quiet. A pause. A look. A reaction that reveals emotional maturity. And this story is still unfolding. Because every time someone new discovers the clip, the conversation starts again. Each viewer brings their own perspective, their own memories, their own emotions. And that keeps the story alive. At KDrama Haven, this is why we tell stories the way we do. We do not chase noise. We explore meaning. We slow down moments that deserve to be felt, not rushed. This was not just about a public kiss. It was about how people respond when the past brushes against the present. It was about dignity, growth, and respect. And those themes resonate far beyond celebrity news. If you stayed until this point, you felt it too. So now we ask you, what did Shen Yue reaction mean to you? Did it feel like closure, strength, or simply peace? Share your thoughts in the comments. Join the conversation. And stay with KDrama Haven because stories like this do not end. They evolve. And we will be here to tell every chapter with you. As the story continued to travel across timelines and platforms, something even more interesting began to happen. The narrative stopped belonging to the internet and started belonging to people. Viewers were no longer watching from a distance.
They were feeling involved.
Invested. Quietly emotional. Many fans noticed that this moment did not create chaos. Instead, it created reflection. That alone made it different from most viral stories. There were no loud arguments.
No rushed conclusions.
Just thousands of people pausing and thinking about what it means to move forward with grace. Shen Yue's reaction became a symbol. Not because she intended it to be, but because it resonated so deeply. People described it as strength without noise. confidence without performance, closure without explanation. In a world that often demands reactions be dramatic, this calm stood out. As more viewers revisited her past work, they began to see her journey in a new light. Her growth as an actress, her evolution as a public figure, the way she carries herself now compared to years ago. Everything felt intentional and grounded. Fans started saying that this moment showed emotional independence, the ability to respect history without being defined by it. That idea struck a chord especially among viewers who have experienced change in their own lives. Meanwhile, the story of Dylan Wang and BaiLu continued to exist on its own path. Their public moment remained a point of curiosity and excitement. But instead of overshadowing others, it became part of a larger picture, one where multiple stories coexist without conflict. That balance is what made the entire situation feel unusually mature.
No one tried to rewrite the past.
No one attempted to control the present. Everyone simply continued forward. Some fans noticed how this story changed the way people spoke about relationships in the industry. The conversation became softer, more thoughtful, less about ownership and more about respect, less about expectations and more about personal journeys. It was as if this single chain of moments reminded people that real life is not a drama with fixed roles.
People change. Paths separate.
New chapters begin. And that does not erase what came before. This realization made the story linger longer than expected. Days passed, and the topic continued to resurface. Not because of new footage, but because of ongoing discussion. Viewers returned to it late at night, thought about it quietly, compared it to moments in their own lives. That is the power of subtle storytelling. Shen Yue did not speak loudly, but her presence communicated peace. And that peace was contagious. Fans described feeling lighter after watching her reaction, less attached to outcomes, more accepting of change. At the same time, admiration grew, not just for her, but for how all three individuals handled their positions within the public eye.
No rash statements. No unnecessary commentary.
Just space. That space allowed the audience to feel rather than be told what to feel. This is why the moment became timeless instead of fleeting. It did not burn fast and disappear. It settled slowly and stayed. At KDrama Haven, this is exactly why we choose to tell stories this way. Because not every powerful moment needs spectacle. Some moments deserve patience,
depth,
silence. If you're still here, it means the story touched something personal. And that connection is what truly matters. So we invite you to stay with us. Share your thoughts. Tell us what this moment meant to you. And continue this journey with KDrama Haven, where stories are not rushed and emotions are respected. Because some stories do not end when the screen fades. They live on in the quiet moments after.